We are really. Oh, we're live.
We're
Okay.
live. Look at that, man.
How about
Here we
that?
are in December, getting really cold.
Yep.
Is it cold?
Yep.
Is it cold up there, Brian?
It is going to be really cold tonight. It's going to be in the 40s here pretty quickly. So,
You know,
or
weathermen don't get tired when they're wrong, right?
I say it's at the 40s now. It's going to be negative tonight. So, at some point tonight, it's going to be really, really cold. So,
Yeah, that's what we're expecting here.
so should we
Hello,
roll
folks.
the?
Listen, we're talking the weather here. This is not a weather channel. This is a lot of Energy Rogue. So we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect out of 2023.
Yep. Yep.
And
And
so,
just to kick it off right, how about we do something fancy? Do we like fancy?
I'm telling you what, that is pretty cool. It's like real technical and everything.
So this is right before Christmas, or the holidays, I should say. Christmas for a large majority of people here in the U.S., but the holiday season for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, you name it. I'm going to forget a lot of them, but listen, happy holidays. I hope you and your family have a wonderful time of year. I hope everything brings peace and prosperity to you. So um, that's something we wanted to wish to you. So,
Absolutely.
but we did want to talk a little bit about energy in 2023. So, uh, Bill, what do you think?
I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
So should we pick? Should we pick a starting point? And the
Let's
starting
pick a
point,
starting point.
the starting point would be yesterday's close, which WTI closed for 2023, the entire calendar year at 71.51. So let's start with crude, and then we'll hop over to natural gas. So crude, do you believe
So
that or disbelieve that?
pull up our month by month chart. Do you have that available?
Yes, I got to load it up. So
Okay.
hang with me. And
Because I think everything in the crude oil with that close is looking bullish. So demand is
yeah,
not going to go down. And so
well,
you
and
can
if you
see there. Well, that's an old chart there, Brian, because it's still
no,
showing 75. Oh, wait,
no.
let me see. Well, none of us below 71. I can do that average in my head.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that might be an old chart.
that's an old chart. We'll get that fixed. The So everything about crude oil right now is bullish. Now, Brian and I were talking about this before we got on, is that your financial close, which is what WTI is, can be disassociated with what is really happening in the physical world. And so I think that, and when the physical world comes back, it can just pound you like a sledgehammer if you're not looking. So the things that I know is, I know that crude oil prices crude oil demand is going to increase. It's not going down. Everybody says, well, we're worried about China. China is going to need crude oil in 2023. The demand is still going to be there. Where it comes from, this is what the world is playing games with right now. Because a lot of people say, well, we're going to cap Russian oil. Well, really, the only people who can cap Russian oil is the Russians.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Exactly. That's what will happen. So I think there's going to be strong. In fact, as I've been bullish for crude oil, I've been like Brian was on natural gas. I was every time it goes down, I'm more bullish with crude oil,
Right.
which is just really the opposite of what it's saying. And I'm still bullish on it even in this month.
Yep.
In 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
So I think one, so the demand's going to be there, and two, the drilling's not keeping up with the demand.
Right. Right.
And that's the other big thing.
And
Biggest producer of crude oil in the world is the United States, and if we're not keeping up, nobody's keeping up.
Well, let's take a look at this. I mean, we went from the COVID trough to around 220 rigs up to 700. And during that same time frame on crude oil, we did go up. This is just the shale regions, but this is where your growth is. But we went from roughly 7.8 million barrels a day to just over 9. So we added 1.2, 1.4 million barrels a day in the shale regions, as well as some efficiencies elsewhere. So we have added supply quite a bit. And if you take a look at this chart, this is crude oil over history. And from the COVID peak, we were, prior to COVID, we were producing here in the US 13 million barrels a day. We've been trying to climb up to that. Well, until we see rigs get back to these levels, like 1,000 to 1,500. I mean, really, we probably need to get back to this type of level to see the growth really impact what we can do there. Because what people are forgetting is the fact that when we have net imports, we are importing, but we're exporting over 4 million barrels a day. So we have become the world's swing supplier of
That's
crude
correct.
oil. And so with that, one of the things that we take a look at is we take a look at OPEC and what the deliverability is there. In deliverability, yes, they publish a spare capacity number. We don't believe that. We believe history shows us what they can do. And the peak is about 2 million barrels a day of increase, and most of it is sitting in Iran. So that's why it's important on Iran. But when you take a look at it, Russia's producing everything they possibly can. We are producing everything we possibly can with the current rig output. So we need to increase our rigs, I mean, by at least 30 to 40%. Until we do,
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
I mean, triple digits. We haven't seen the peak. I don't think we've seen the peak. I mean, this past year we didn't get back to the previous peak of 147. I believe what was the peak there?
But back
147.
during that peak, the companies who were drilling weren't concerned about their company. They were concerned about showing big production so they could sell their stock.
Yep.
And
All
now you got a different management team working that does not have that same viewpoint. So I think it's going to take even more rigs than you think. Also, our refining capacity from that point to now has probably lost 1 million barrels a day.
Yeah, it has.
And so it's a different dynamic that we're looking at right now. And all the fundamentals show to a bullish future, even though right now you're seeing some of the lowest prices we've seen in a while.
I mean, you can see it right here because our peak was 17.77. I mean, the fact of the matter is that our utilization is still between 92 to 95,
which is about as high as it gets.
Exactly. And
so all that to say this, I'm bullish on crude oil.
I agree with you.
I don't think it's going to be a 45-degree angle rise on the slope. I think it's going to be a really steep rise on the slope.
Well, first quarter might be tricky, but I think there's some surprises coming in the first quarter.
I think it's going to happen in a short time frame as opposed to a long time frame.
I think by the time we hit April, we're firmly back in triple digits. So
I can see it happen before that as well. So that's where I am on 2023. I know you're tempered on that, but I think I could see us hitting triple digits almost by the end of January.
Yep. And we are not financial advisors. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell any commodity or stock.
Nor do we own any crude oil or natural gas to sell you. Well, I mean, I think I got a quart out in the garage, but that's about it.
So anyway, that's our prediction on crude. What do you think on natural gas?
Natural gas has been really interesting here in the last few days. I think we need to. It's like a roller coaster. I mean, it's just
So look
going
for
up.
low and away,
Yeah,
but
but
watch out for in your ear.
exactly. And so I think natural gas is going to go up. I'm bullish on natural gas as well. I'm bullish on both the commodities. I
Yep.
think natural gas has potential. I don't think anybody believes in 2023 that we're going to be selling gas for that price that's showing on the futures.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. Brian, where are you at on natural gas?
I am definitely thinking the fundamentals. When I look at the fundamentals, we are producing 100 BCF a day. A lot of people look at the growth over the last year and think that's going to continue. I don't think it's going to continue. Plus, we're going to add 2 BCF a day of demand back when Freeport comes online. Plus, at the end of 23, pardon me, at the end of 23, we are starting to stage and get ready for capacity additions for LNG exports in 2024 and 25. So when I look at that demand picture, our demand has done nothing but gone up and up and up. Let's take a look at the consumption over history. And again, all these charts are on energyrogue.com for $89 a month. You can have access to this interactive dashboard, which is going to give you data history so that you can highlight this, drop it down to an image, include it in PowerPoints or an email to your customers. But if you look at this consumption growth, I mean, we just keep growing and growing and growing. And the fact of the matter is that I was looking at this with one of our customers the other day. When we take a look at where that consumption is coming, this is a negative chart because it's just only looking at consumption. You can see it's gotten further south, which means more consumption. So let's take a look at let's take a look and see. Well, plant and lease fuel, that's increased, but that's only marginal amount. But that's in step with production. The pipe distribution is about the same, slightly up. Residential, about the same. Industrial, about the same. Electric, this is where your growth is. This is where 10 BCF a day of growth was really happening from less than 33 to 45.
Everybody
So,
get a new cell phone for Christmas. It'll charge.
yeah, commercial is about the same. So when we take a look at it, electric is where we have really gone back to things. So that when I look at natural gas production and consumption, yes, we are up over 105 BCF a day. And let's take a look at just the dry gas production. Let me just clear this up, and I mean you can take a look. This has been your production growth. I mean, from 2017, we have grown a tremendous amount, but we've also added so much LNG demand. I mean,
Right.
when we take a look at LNG demand, let's take a look at that. So that went from 0 to 12 BCF a day.
And it did that in 7 years.
So when we take a look at
in the next 4 years, it'll double.
So when we take a look at the at dry gas production coming, let's take it from COVID. We went from 89 to 100, so we grew 11 BCF. Meanwhile, we also added 12 BCF a day of LNG export, and we're looking at another 10 to 15.
Right.
So back to this. Let's play a little game. Over under. When we exit 2023, I am going to say 111 is going to be our average for 2023, and I am going to say 730 for the end of 2023 average. What's your thinking?
I
I'm
think that
gonna
natural
write
gas.
this down.
You better write it down because I think natural gas is going to be over $8. I'm going to call it 807 just because I like that number for some reason. Crude oil, I think, will average in 2023 119.
Okay. All right. So we got these down. Email us
So we're both.
rogue@energyrogue.com. Let us know your thoughts. We have contests with our customers every week, or not every week, every month. And this month we had one of our customers actually identified the key low of yesterday on natural gas when we were up in the $6 range, and he threw out 527. So Tom, well done. And let's see. I think that's all I have.
That's right. We've made this a little bit long, but we're trying to cover a whole year. So
yeah, I mean, and then next summer we can tell people.
I told you I spent it with my uncle in Alaska hunting wolverines.
There you go. Exactly.
You,
All right, folks, listen, that's where we're at. That's where we sit. Send us a note. Tell us what you think. Tell us where we're wrong or where we're right.
Yep. And until then, for the holidays, I think you should come up with kind of a to-do list, and something that I think we have on our to-do list at Brian's house is
First we'll make snow angels for 2 hours, and then we'll go ice skating, and then we'll eat a whole roll of Toll House cookie dough as fast as we can, and then, to finish, we'll snuggle.
so
Well,
that's what
you got
that's
a
what we're
plan.
gonna
What
do.
can I say?
Yeah. So anyway, thanks so much for joining. Reach out to us if you got any questions. We ran a little long. We were planning on a short time, but we did not do a short one. So anyway, hope you enjoy. Drop us a message, drop us a line. We'll have our email down below. But thanks so much. Have a great holiday season.
All right. Happy holidays.